we will be talking about the season 1 finale of Better Call Saul. Marco, and I'm trying to be a little quiet, be courteous of the people living in my apartment with me. We are at college and we are still pumping out videos. I will hopefully try to get these 3 videos out now and stream some Rumbleverse for you guys sometime tonight. So obviously there's an opening and a main story to Better Call Saul in all the episodes. You know, there's always opening sequence and then the main story of the episode, which, yeah. In a flashback to 1992, Jimmy has been released from jail with Chuck's help. Obviously, we've seen that earlier in the season, like Chuck kind of bailing him out. Jimmy agrees to Chuck's demand that he move to Albuquerque to live an honest life before leaving Cicero, Illinois, which is like really close to Chicago and actually really close to where I live, I think, maybe. He goes to a favorite bar to say goodbye to Marco Pasternak, his partner in crime, and you will see later on in the episode that this is kind of foreshadowing something bad happens to Marco, and maybe there's some foreshadowing in the episode with the watch and him laying on the ground. I think the creators, Vince Gilligan, did a great job foreshadowing that. But let's get to the main story. Jimmy gives the Sandpiper case to HHM and reveals he figured out Chuck was sabotaging his career, and Chuck kind of knew this, that he had figured this out. This whole time his brother was kind of working against him. That was kind of a big plot twist. It was kind of crazy to see this revelation take place and to see the emotions that accompanied that. Howard apologizes for his involvement and gives Jimmy his $20,000 of counsel fee. You know, this whole time Howard didn't really want Jimmy to fail as a lawyer. He's a real lawyer. Maybe Chuck's the fake lawyer. He really wants to see a lot of his colleagues kind of prosper in this field, and he never wanted to hurt Saul or Jimmy in this case. And this show does a really good job as painting him as kind of an antagonist throughout the season, like this dickhead of a big corporate dickhead that's like preventing Jimmy from getting in the company. But this whole time it's kind of been his brother that's kind of gotten him to make these decisions, and he definitely feels bad, but it is what it is. Jimmy requests that Howard take over caring for Chuck because he is no longer doing it. His brother's a traitor. Obviously, he has a lot of reason not to take over. So Jimmy calls bingo at the local senior center. He has a big breakdown. This is kind of an emotional scene and kind of a hard scene to watch. You know, he goes on one of those like Jesse Pinkman-esque monologues. After an improbable string of numbers beginning with B, he fixates on words beginning with that letter which remind him of Chuck. So he doesn't really want to remind himself of Chuck, but obviously the bingo cards, you know, brother, bitch. I don't know if he said bitch, but he's probably thinking his brother's a bitch at this point. Jimmy rants about taking revenge in Illinois against someone named Chet, but defecating through the sunroof of Chet's car, the Chicago sunroof. It's kind of a weird story. He kind of like gets kind of confessional here and kind of like tells the crowd something that probably shouldn't be told in public without realizing Chet's children were in the back seat. It's kind of funny. Facing the possibility of registering as a sex offender if convicted, Jimmy asked Chuck for help, and that's kind of how he got into jail. He kind of discusses with the audience how he got into that jail situation. It's a good explanation. Chuck got the charges dropped, but Jimmy blames this event for their feud. So Chuck, like, breaking him out on this petty charge, maybe that's why he started turning on Jimmy. Who knows? This was before Jimmy ever became a lawyer. He was more of a crook then. Jimmy returns to Cicero and he reunites with Marco. This is kind of awesome. You know, he reunites with Cicero. He figures, you know, might as well go back. He's kind of like emotional about the thing. He might as well go back to kind of the people that care about him. They run a scam on an unsuspecting businessman, then spend several days running cons, and it's a big montage of them ripping people off and kind of getting that chump change that they did back in the day. Pretty dope. A couple last licks for these guys, I guess. At the end of the week, Jimmy explains he is an attorney and must return to Albuquerque to see his clients. And Marco's like, what clients? You know, now Jimmy McGill in elder law, he's kind of becoming this big shot, and a bunch of elderly people want to help him sign the wills off and stuff. So he's pretty busy, so he has to leave Marco here. Marco convinces Jimmy to stay for one last con. While running in the scam, Marco suffers a heart attack and dies. He's one of the first like major characters to die in this series, and it's really emotional because he was just a down in the dumps guy, like that was going through so much, and he was fighting for any money he could get, and now he just dies from a heart attack. I don't know. Jimmy inherits Marco's pinky ring, which he begins to wear even though it is too big, kind of as a totem, kind of as a reminder, kind of as inspiration for when he's continuing to make these deals and work with these clients and make money off of it. Kim calls Jimmy to report the Sandpiper case has grown too big for HHM, requiring them to partner with Davis and Maine. So maybe this is an opportunity for Jimmy to kind of sneak into the firm and kind of get some work in there and get some more money off of it than he would have got if the case had closed. Because he was going to get compensated for the case regardless. He was going to get this counsel fee, then he was going to get this like bag at the end, like 20% settlement. Because of Jimmy's rapport with the clients, D&M is interested in hiring him. So Jimmy McGill might get a big break at Davis and Maine. He kind of has a gig going on with these guys. Jimmy arranges to meet the D&M partners at the courthouse, but changes his mind and drives away. He realizes what his brother has done is like irreversible, and he can never forgive him. You know, it's stuff like people manipulating him makes him not want to become a lawyer anymore, and it's kind of sad that his own brother did this to him, you know. It is what it is. He stops to ask Mike why they did not keep the money they took from the Kettlemans. Mike recalls Jimmy did not take it because he wanted to do the right thing, and says he did not because Jimmy hired him to do the job, and he did it. You know, Mike's kind of like an executor. He's kind of an enforcer. He gets shit done. If you tell him to do it, he's going to do it. He's kind of the workhorse of many kinds. Jimmy assures Mike he will not make the same mistake again and drives off while humming smoke on before he died. So again, kind of like a full circle moment on this show, and this represents Jimmy McGill fully turning into Saul Goodman. Now I don't know when he's going to change identities. He is still Jimmy McGill as far as I'm concerned, and remained this kind of innocent guy, vulnerable, punching bag type of character throughout the first season. But we'll see what the second season brings. I'm really excited. Highly positive reception, 89% approval, 8.55 out of 10. The investment into Better Call Saul's first season pays off with a finale that is at once comic and tragic as Jimmy's conversation to Saul nears conversion, not conversation. 9 out of 10 on IGN. Better Call Saul gave us an exemplary first season of television. The finale brought us to the moment where Jimmy made the decision to abandon his attempt to walk a righteous path and instead give over to his baser drives and desires. A more open-ended conclusion may have felt more emotionally impactful. On the whole, though, this was a gorgeously designed and executed episode, one that leaves enough room for what we hope will be an equally extraordinary second season. 4 out of 5 on the Telegraph. Picture editing was nominated for an Emmy. On this episode in particular, the sound mixing was great for this episode as well. A lot of big accolades, but I gotta move on here. I know these videos aren't that long, but